Nestled in the Sequatchie Valley in East Tennessee is the renowned Sweetens Cove Golf Club that became the inspiration for a highly acclaimed bourbon brand co-founded by a group of celebrity owners that includes football legend Peyton Manning and tennis great Andy Roddick. The captivating story of Sweetens Cove Spirits is the perfect blend of tradition, innovation, sport, and the art of bourbon craftsmanship.
Yeah, the story of Sweetens Cove is very unique and interesting. It all started on a rinky-dink course in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. It kind of had that tin cup meets Field of Dreams, opportunity. So we turned it into that, and it actually now is one of the top-rated courses in the country. And there was a tradition on the first tee when we bought it that you did a shot of bourbon. So, of course, the idea is like, hey, let's start a bourbon brand. And that's how I got involved, and here we are today. It's been interesting trying to teach them, grow them, understand what their targets are and how I can turn that into, reality, and it's been fun. And I love when they ask questions, especially Peyton. It's really fun just sharing them the ins and outs of the industry.
Before joining Sweetens Cove, Jared Poe met Jeff Hopmayer, founder of the Brindiamo Group, one of the largest bulk bourbon and whiskey suppliers in the world. He reached out to Jeff and Brindiamo to help source liquid for the new brand.
I know Jared really well, and I've known him for a long time. And with respect to Sweetens Cove, Sweetens Cove to me started out as just a fun project for the golf course, right? Because Peyton Manning, Andy Roddick, are all involved in this brand, and it was something that they wanted to do to take a shot at the golf course, right? To actually, when you're there, serve it, drink their own bourbon or their own whiskey. And that's really the way it started.
So Jared approached me. He had a significant need for his brand. They were looking not just for liquid right now, but they really wanted to lock up the liquid that they would need for their brand for the next several years. So he reached out to me knowing who we were and what we did. Sweetens Cove is a really interesting brand. It's a blend of liquid from 3 different states, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Indiana. And it's done by Marianne Eaves, who's very well known in our industry. So it's an interesting take on a blended whiskey.
Master Distiller Marianne Eaves is credited with much of the success of Sweetens Cove, including glowing reviews from numerous trade publications.
Love for the brand from consumers and others alike. I mean, it's good bourbon, and we have to owe that to Marianne Eaves. So she's our master blender. She was the first female Kentucky master distiller in the history of Kentucky, and we owe a lot to her and her skill and her taste. And she's done a great job for us. But it really comes back to where we're sourcing it and making sure that it's that we can have it over the long term. And
for me, Sweetens Cove is a really cool idea, and they built a great following. They had some rich history because of the golf course. They had Peyton and Andy and all these other guys who drink it, who play these courses. So it was pretty easy for them to get it out.
Our goal is to sell in a few years, but when we sell, our acquirer has to have that runway to continue. We have to have inventory, at least 4 years of inventory for them to continue to bottling, so they can start, basically putting new fill barrels in the ground so they can continue. Brindiamo's been definitely a sounding board at least for me. Getting that kind of advice when you're buying barrels and understand that we're not overpaying or we're getting good prices is very important. Brindiamo has brought that, has helped us with that. They understand how, that we need to kind of create that runway, as I said earlier, for our acquirer, and it's been really helpful.
I think Sweetens Cove, the brand, will be built up and get to a certain amount of cases and eventually be put up for some kind of sale.